This episode is brought to you by Hostfully. Using Hostfully, you can create a free digital guidebook for your listing so that you can save time creating a professional experience for every guest that comes and visits your spot. Learn more at hostfully.com.
Welcome to Get Paid for Your Pad, the definitive show on Airbnb hosting, featuring the best advice on how to maximize profits from your Airbnb listing, as well as real-life experiences from Airbnb hosts all over the world. Welcome.
Get paid for your pad. Get paid for your pad. Get paid for your pad.
Welcome to podcast episode 278. And in this episode, I'm very excited because I have Eric Moeller as a guest. You've probably heard of him. He's been in episode 175, which is actually the most downloaded episode I've ever recorded. So Eric must have some interesting advice to share. He's been on the podcast actually a couple months ago as well. But in this podcast, I invited him because we want to share with you guys our plans for our Mastermind retreat, STR Legends Live, which is going to take place in June, end of June, June 27th until July 1st in Puerto Rico. We're going to talk all about that, and this is interesting if you want to participate. If you have 25 units or more, then you can apply to participate. But also, if you don't have that many units, this is also going to be really interesting for you because we are going to create a lot of content. We're going to open up a Q&A where people with smaller businesses can provide questions that we'll ask to these big players and these professionals. So there's going to be ways for other people to get involved as well. So Eric, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back. Super excited.
Man. This is the third time, dude.
It is. Let's make this your number 2 downloaded podcast of all time.
Well, it's good to have you back. I think you're the first one who's ever been on this podcast 3 times. So I hope you feel honored.
I'm definitely honored.
Anyway, let's talk about our event. I'm super excited that we're actually doing this June 27th until July 1st. I'll give you a chance to quickly let the audience know why we planned this event and what's going to go down exactly.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm super excited about this event. Obviously, you and I have been working side by side putting this together for months now, and now it's actually in motion. And I mean, we're a little less than or a month and a half away, I would assume, to the actual event. But the whole idea is when we first got together, we realized that both of our audience, the Airbnb Open was a really incredible event, and the whole community got together for that event up in LA and Paris, and I forget where it was prior to that. But ever since those have ended, both of us realized independently that there was really no communities that are based for established operators, especially the operators that are running multiple units. And, both of us have huge communities, and a lot of the individuals in our communities are really focused on growing their professional businesses. So when we got together to figure out all right, how do we bring value to our communities separately? How do we bring all of these people together? Network, share ideas on building our businesses, mastermind on the biggest challenges that are going through our businesses, and have a really good time. The Short-Term Rental Legends Live, just kind of blossomed into this beautiful, beautiful event. So, it's cool. I think the people that will be attending, it's a very small event, right? So, I think that's something we should share is that we're keeping this open for only 25 people. I think between you and I, we have, a reach of tens of thousands of people all around the world. So we're only opening this up for 25 operators, companies. And, we have some ideas on how we can get this content and access to the rest of the people in our community. But I believe that this event for those 25 that can join will just be completely game changing with the networking, the masterminding, the presentations from different sponsors that we have there. And then just the good all connecting and having fun together in Puerto Rico is going to be absolute game changing. So I'm really excited about it. I'm excited about meeting and really networking and masterminding with the 25 that we're going to be bringing together down there.
Yeah, and for me, one of the things that I've always kind of struggled with is that I'm a kind of a small host. A lot of people know me through the podcast and the book and everything, but I've only managed ever like, 2, 3, maybe 4 listings. And I used to get questions from these large operators that were in my audience, and they would send me an email and say like, "Hey man, like thanks for all the information. Like, I've listened to all your podcasts. Now I've got 63 units." And I was wondering, like, what's the best software to use, or how do you do administration, or how do you manage your cleaners? And I'm like, well, I only have one cleaner, so it's kind of easy to manage. Send her a message,
Right.
And I just don't have answers to these questions because I just simply don't have that experience. I used to get questions from people who own like 20, 30 properties, or they would do the master leasing and have 50 properties, property managers with over 100 listings. And so I've always wondered, like, how can I provide value to that group? But I also started realizing that there's a lot to learn from these people, right? I think there's a lot of people at least in my community, that have maybe like 5 listings or 10 listings, and they're at a point where they actually want to turn this into their full-time business, right? Their full-time job. And so the questions that these people have is, like, how do I grow my business? How do I find landlords that will allow me to put their units on Airbnb? How do I find customers? How do I find people that I can manage their listings? People that are managing other properties, for people. How do you find new clients? How do you grow your business? And then on the management side, it's like, how do you do the bookkeeping? How do you do the admin? How do you manage everything? And these are topics that everyone's kind of struggling with. And so I think by getting 25 people together who all have 25 to, I think a few of the people who've already signed up for this, they have over 100 listings, right? So I'm personally like very curious, like, how do you manage 100 listings? I mean, how do you even get to that number? I mean, that's just incredible. And so I imagine that there's a lot of people in our audiences that are also curious to know how they manage and how they grow their business. And so I think this is going to be valuable obviously for the participants who have like a support group, I would say. When you have that many listings, you're kind of playing on a different game, right? And so by making relationships and networking, getting to know like 25 other people that have, similar businesses as yourself, I think that's really valuable. And, the way we designed this event is really, it's all based on connecting, masterminding, sharing experiences, learning from each other. We're going to look at everybody's business and ask them, like, what are your biggest challenges, etc. And based on that feedback, we're going to do hot seats, we're going to do brainstorm sessions, etc. But we also have a private chef in the villa.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do like communal breakfast, lunch, dinner. We're going to have drinks at night. And we'll also have a whole day where we're going to do a really cool excursion. So I think after 3 days of spending, pretty much the whole time together, except for when you're sleeping, I think the relationships that are going to be built are going to be pretty strong. And so going forward after the event, we'll have like a private Facebook group where we'll put everybody in there. And so then the participants will have a platform, they'll have a community where they can go with their questions, right? Because I mean, there's plenty of Facebook groups and forums and stuff, but if you're operating like 50 units and you're posting a question in a group that predominantly has people that have like 1 or 2 units, then you're not really going to get the feedback that you're looking for, I think. Right. So in a nutshell, that was a lot. I think I talked for a long time, didn't I?
No, it's cool. I appreciate you, and I'm sure everyone who's listening appreciates all those details. I think it's really important to kind of drive home the fact that, if you're one of those operators that are running 25 units or more, especially once you start getting to the 50 units or, the 100 units or plus, we have about 5 or 6 people that are coming that are running between 70 and 125 units. And what I realize is that they are running these incredible businesses, but everyone still has the same types of challenges that even the smaller operators have. It's like, what's the best tech that I need to be using? The number one question that we got is like, what are people using to manage their calendars? What are people using to manage their pricing? What are they using to manage their inboxes and scheduling and all of that? I think our industry is it's moving so freaking fast, and it's becoming easier and easier for people to grow their companies from just 1 or 2 units to 25, or from 25 to 100. By the end of this year, my partner and I are looking to grow our company to about 120 units. And together we have about 60 units independently. So it's really interesting. Once we started realizing this opportunity, we're like, all right, we're going to have this major growth in our company, but it's very difficult to kind of surround ourselves with other companies that are managing the amount of those units, right? I think that's where we're going to get and drive home the most value for everybody. It's like we're going to bring everybody into one room that is all going through the same type of growth challenges, but all have a different type of value to bring. And what's cool too is like this is a global community of operators. So we have people flying in from all around the world who's going to be joining this. And I think it's really important if you're one of those operators that are in a position of massive growth this year, or you're planning to grow this year, injecting yourself and your company into a tight, cultivated community of operators that have done it or currently doing what you want to do is the most important thing you can do as a short-term rental operator at the moment. So it's pretty cool. I think we cultivated an amazing group of operators, an amazing concept around this. I'm sure this is not going to be the last time that we do this, but the first one, I'm truly excited about it. And it's not only just what everyone's going to be bringing together, but it's what you were saying, to your point, is the community that we're developing, being able to essentially build a board of advisors of other operators to go through when you're going through this growth challenge, to be able to bounce these challenges off of somebody who's already experienced it, or at least get advice or brainstorming sessions on those challenges. So yeah, I think it's going to be really, really powerful. Some of the individuals that we have coming down now, and they're not just in the rental arbitrage or master lease model, but they're also large property managers or developers that are going to be there. Some individuals are focusing on the corporate rentals. Talking to somebody today who is focused on the co-living model. So it's pretty cool. We're bringing together a solid group when it comes to the operators, but then also, which I think would be cool to share with everybody, is the sponsors and presenters that we're bringing down as well, and the value that they're going to bring.
Yeah, why don't you talk a little bit about the sponsors?
So I can kick that off on my end. So you and I are obviously talking to a handful of companies, and the biggest thing for putting a community and a group, an event like this together, is cultivating the experience for everyone who's involved, right? So even the sponsors that have approached us, kind of make it clear to everybody, we didn't go into this expecting we would have other companies coming down and presenting and educating in front of the group. But once they started hearing about this event, they started approaching us. So some amazing sponsors that we have that are going to be presenting some incredible information. One is NoiseAware, which I think every single operator in the world needs to use this company, NoiseAware. I have them in all my properties. They save my butt on everything. Countless parties they've crushed for me. So I'm excited for them to present how they're helping operators and scale manage their challenges with parties and noise and all of that. So David from NoiseAware, he's going to be there for the entire weekend with us. So I'm excited about that. Organized Gains is another company. This is a short-term rental bookkeeping company. So they specialize in working with larger operators who have multiple properties on how to manage their books, either if you're a leasing company, property management company, or a developer. This company is incredible. They're going to put on probably about an hour and a half presentation on how to manage your books, and then also give the opportunity to potentially working with them. They're going to be there for pretty much the whole weekend. And then some other companies that we're talking to, I don't know if we want to release this or not because we haven't officially brought them on, but some other companies that we're loosely trying to get down there are booking.com, which is pretty incredible. Properly, we're talking to Properly as well. And then we have some other companies that we're trying to figure out if they're a good fit or not. So it's going to be extremely valuable on that side.
Awesome. So let's just quickly go into the details. So if, For the people that are interested in actually applying, right? So this is an application-only retreat. And the reason for that is that we want to make sure that we get like a coherent group, that everyone's kind of like playing at a similar level. And so if you're interested in joining, here's the process. Go to getpaidforyourpad.com/STR. That will redirect you to the event page. There you'll find a video of me and Eric. If you'd like to look at our faces, you can watch that video. But also there's a lot of information about, what we're going to do exactly, breakdown of the retreat, like the different days, what we're going to do. And there's a button where you can press and you can apply. So when you apply, you just fill out a short questionnaire. We just ask you a couple questions like how many units do you have, what you want to learn, what are your biggest challenges, etc., so that we have an idea of like what type of business you're running and also what you're looking to gain and what you're looking to provide in terms of experience and value to the other group. So that's the application process. Just to repeat the details of the event. So it's going to be in Puerto Rico. We've rented I think it's an 11-bedroom villa on the beach, about 40 minutes outside of San Juan. So it's pretty awesome property. We've got some photos. Actually, I think we even have all the photos of the villa on the website. So again, getpaidforyourpad.com/STR is where you can find that information. Once you apply, we'll get on a call with you and we'll ask you to put down $1,000 deposit. Then the price of the event, it's going to start at like $3,500, and that includes everything from the moment you arrive at the airport until you leave. And so airport transportation, your accommodation, we have a private chef that's going to cook food for us for the entire duration of the stay, all drinks, all the other activities that we've organized, everything is included, as well as a full day of excursion on Sunday, but it's going to be pretty epic.
That's a surprise.
Guarantee you that. So those are the details. June 27th until July 1st. That's Thursday through Monday, Puerto Rico. And so now that we've talked about people that want to apply, the people that have 25 or more units, but now let's talk about the people that don't have 25 units and how they can get involved. Because we don't have 25 people yet, right? We still have some seats to sell, and we would really love to get to 25 people. And in order to get there, we're basically asking all our connections and everybody to help us with that. And so we've created some incentives for people because we know everybody's busy, and so we respect your time. Here's how you can get involved. I already mentioned that we're bringing down a camera crew, and so we're going to record lots of content. We're going to do interviews with the participants. We're going to do all sorts of cool stuff, live streams. We're going to create reports. So, for example, wouldn't it be interesting to know, of the 25 largest operators, what tech are they using? Which platform are they using, right? What kind of tools are they using? It'd be really interesting to see 10 out of 25 are using this program or this software, and then only 3 out of 25 are using this software, right? That kind of stuff I think is going to be really interesting information. And so we're going to actually make that information available to everybody. But if you want to help us and just introduce us to somebody who you think could be a good candidate, we'll actually give you a free all access pass. And so that means you're going to be able to see the live streams. You're going to get all the content that we're going to distribute for free just by essentially bringing us in contact with somebody that you think is a good candidate. So somebody who has 25 or more units, regardless if that person is actually going to attend. So just for that lead, we're offering you a free all access pass. Now, if that person actually ends up attending, we'll give you $250. Just to, just compensate you for your efforts, and just to kind of motivate people also to kind of get creative and see if they know anybody who's a good fit. That's how you can get involved. Also, if you think you have any questions that are going to be really important for us to ask or discuss during the event, also feel free to just reach out at jesper@getpaidforyourpad.com, and we'll make sure that, we'll cover all the questions that you have and incorporate that in the content that we're going to distribute as well. So that's for the people who don't have 25 units or more. Also, I was going to mention, me and Eric, we've actually been talking about doing events for a while, because we kind of realized there's a gap since the Airbnb Open has ceased to exist. There's kind of a gap in terms of events. There's not a lot of events. And so we're really planning to organize more events. So if you have any cool ideas for an event, just let us know and we'll figure out and maybe make it happen. Now, this event that we're starting with is a small event, right? Because, I mean, I've been to conferences and I know some people who organize conferences and I know how much work it is and I know how complicated it is. And so we figured, okay, do we really want to jump into organizing a huge event with like hundreds or maybe like 1,000 people if we have like zero experience? Or do we want to start out with a small event, get like 25 people down there and see how that goes, get some experience, and then use that experience to organize other events? So if you have any ideas, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, damn, I wish I could come because this sounds like a lot of fun, which it will be. But
be awesome.
You're a smaller operator, but you have some ideas, some suggestions, and just reach out, and we'll try and make it happen in the future.
That's it. Yeah, and I love the fact that we're opening this up to the entire community, the entire industry. So, just to kind of touch on that as well. And even though we realize that not everybody in our communities have that 25 units or more, but this is a really good opportunity for if you're just getting started, if you have one or two, if you're just starting to grow, we're always networking with somebody. We're always networking in these industries. So yeah, if you know somebody that has those 25 units, just by connecting us, then we'll be able to kind of tie you into what all of these larger operators are doing by giving you access to the all access pass and everything else. So I think that's a great idea, and I'm going to give Jasper, I'm going to give you the credit for coming up with that idea. And I think that's going to be major value add to our community. So yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm excited for the 25 companies that can join us down in Puerto Rico. And then I'm also excited for everybody else who can get involved on at least making some introductions, and then we'll get you involved in the all access pass. So yeah, super excited.
Awesome, man. So is there anything else we should share? Did we miss anything?
I think that's it. Yeah, I think it would be awesome to hear from your community as far as ideas on what questions they want us to ask at the event, so we can get that on camera and then share that with everybody who does get access to the all access pass, and then share some ideas on either networking or additional events in the future. But yeah, for this one in Puerto Rico, yeah, I'm super excited to see who we can get down there that has that 25 units or more.
Yeah, and just to be clear, all the content that we're going to create, we're going to distribute that to the participants. That's included, of course, in the ticket price. And just a little clarification on the ticket price as well. So we have a villa, right? But that villa has different type of rooms. It has like a master room with like a jacuzzi and like a sick view, and like it's just that master bedroom is probably like twice the size of my apartment where I live. But there's also like smaller rooms that have like multiple beds and that people can share and stuff. And so the way that this works for the participants is after we get on a call with you to figure out if you're a good fit and if the event is a good fit for you, we'll ask you to put down $1,000 deposit. Once we have all the participants, we're going to talk to everybody individually and say like, hey, what do you prefer? You want to have the lowest cost and maybe, share like one of the rooms with somebody, or are you like super rich and do you want to like just be pimping out there in the jacuzzi in the master bedroom? I mean, it's up to you, but that's why the final pricing will just kind of depend on the arrangement. I mean, me and Erica are probably just going to sleep on the couch or a hammock because we're poor. So that master bedroom is probably not for us. But yeah, so anyway, I'm also super excited. This is the first time I've never organized an event, at least not this size. So it's super exciting. And by the way, this is a different topic. If you haven't listened to the podcast of last week, episode number 277. So my buddy Simon, who's actually crashing my apartment here in Barcelona for the time being, he asked me for help. And because he has an Airbnb listing in South Africa, and he didn't have any bookings this year, but he used to be fully booked. So he was, he's kind of freaking out. And he was like, damn, it's high season in January and February, and I didn't get any bookings. He was already thinking about, trying to find like a long-term renter. And so I was like, you know what, let me take a look at your listing. And so I actually decided to kind of make this a case study. And so I've made all these changes to the listing. I've made it a bit easier for guests to book. I activated like instant booked and made the kind of free cancellation policy, put the minimum nights to 1. I've done a bunch of other things, rearranged some pictures and a few other things that I've changed. You can follow along with this case study because I'm going to be literally adding screenshots of the reservations and how much money we're making and all of that in the show notes of the episode. So you can find the show notes at getpaidforyourpad.com/podcast. And so you can kind of see if I'm going to be doing a good job or not. I mean, I don't know. I don't know Cape Town very well. I have no idea how the Airbnb market is there. But I kind of took on this challenge to help out my friend. So far, it's going pretty well because I messed around with the listing a week ago. I mean, that's May 3rd on a Friday. I usually record these podcasts like a couple days before I publish them. And within a couple of days, I actually had 3 bookings. So we already had one person. We have one person who already stayed there for a couple of days.
So you do know what you're doing.
Well, so far so good, you know. I mean, let's not count our chickens until they've hatched and shoot the bears and the fur and all that kind of stuff. But so far, it's looking pretty good. So Simon's happy. He's already bought me dinner because he's quite excited that he has some bookings now. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm also including all the details of how I'm working with the pricing as well, like how I'm adjusting the pricing. And so I think it's a pretty interesting case study. If you have an Airbnb that's not really doing well, then making these changes that I've made for Simon's listing might actually be able to kind of kickstart the listing and get some momentum going. So that's on a different note. And with that, I think we've come to the end of the podcast. So if you have any questions about the STR Legends Live event in Puerto Rico, feel free to, of course, send an email to jesper@getpaidforyourpad.com. Again, the dates is June 27th until July 1st in Puerto Rico. Tickets start at $3,500. If you're interested, go to getpaidforyourpad.com/STR. And if you know somebody who might be a good fit, just let that person know about the event, see if that person's interested. And if so, then we'll talk to that person. We'll give you a free access pass for your help. And if the person ends up attending, then we'll give you $250 as well. So
boom.
That's it. It's going to be a really fun event. We definitely made it a point to not just make this an educational event, but also just turn it into like a really cool travel experience as well. I mean, Puerto Rico, I've been there last year. It's a pretty awesome island. So if you've never been there, you'll probably have a pretty good time there. It's also a really interesting location for people from the US who don't like paying taxes. I don't know. Do you like paying taxes, Eric?
No, I hate taxes.
Oh, well, Puerto Rico, you pay like or something, is it?
They have a pretty incredible tax law over there. That's why a lot of companies are moving to Puerto Rico right now. You got to be a resident there, of course, but you can still be a U.S. resident, move over to Puerto Rico, receive all the tax benefits. Cost of living is beautiful down there. It's a beautiful country. So, I'm excited about to learn about that as well. So we're going to try to get some people that specialize in that to share some details on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually know quite a bunch of people who've moved to Puerto Rico. One of my very good buddies has moved actually. And I remember talking to his lawyer when I was down there, and he knows a lot. So maybe I'll invite him as well to provide some details for people that are interested in, maybe setting up a business or something in Puerto Rico. Anyway, Eric, I know you have to go. You're a busy man. So thanks for joining.
Yeah, of course, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see you in Puerto Rico. We've actually never met in person, so
I know, it's kind of funny.
I hope you're as nice as you are online.
Time will only tell, buddy. Time will only tell.
Okay, well, and to the listeners, thanks so much for listening. And of course, next week there's going to be another episode of Get Paid for Your Pad. Until then.
Get paid for your pad. Get paid for your pad. Get paid for your pad.